Hello everybody, Darren here, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Now, previously we've just completed our first proper desert factory, a modest steel plant, which pushed us through tiers 3 and 4 and left us ready to complete phase 2 of the space elevator, which is exactly what we're going to be doing today. But first, we're going to set up some vital infrastructure that'll allow us to build big in the future, very big. Blueprints, roads, dimensional depots, and summer sloops. We're going to bang these all out in one video and then pull that big handle. Now going forward after this, there'll be no more, quote, temporary solutions. We'll relocate the space elevator and build fresh transport infrastructure all around it to set up more permanent factories that'll sprawl across the entire biome. This will be my last video before the new year. I'll be taking just a mini break, so I wanted to get everything out of the way so that when I do come back, we'll have everything ready for a nice, big, contained build again and again, basically. So, without further delay, let's begin. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you find me presiding over our recently built steel factory from the previous video over in the northeastern part of the Dune Desert, but now that the pleasantries are out of the way, we've got a lot on the agenda today. Over on the right hand side of the screen, we have a very populated to-do list, the first protocol of which is going to be making versatile frameworks. Now, why do we need that? Well, basically, up in the top right of the screen, we have to complete phase 2 of the space elevator, the second component of which is 1,000 versatile frameworks. So how do we make them? Well, quite simply, we just have to bring together modular frames and steel beams, two components luckily we made in the previous video. So we're actually producing exactly 30 per minute steel beams left over after we consume quite a bit in the encased industrial beams manufacturing. And we also just built a little platform out in the dunes that makes 4 modular frames per minute. So we just got to bring them together, make them friends, and then turn them into versatile frameworks at 5 per minute. So 1,000 is what we need. 5 per minute is 200 minutes. Divided by 60 is about 3 hours, 3 and a bit. We can truncate that down even a little further if we're clever about it. So, not going to read through the rest of the to-do list. You can obviously see it if you really want to. We'll catch up with it as time progresses. But right now, I want to focus on blueprints. We're going to be building a road all the way out from here, the northeastern part of the desert, to the center where the modular frames production is. We're going to connect the two via a road with a little tractor delivering those 30 per minute steel beams all the way over. And the best way to get there is a nice solid road that's going to bring us there. So, blueprints have been developed. Inside of the transport infrastructure category, I've made 2 new subcategories. The narrow road, which is basically the main thing that I'm standing on right now, and then narrow road additions, which are sort of like cosmetics that can be added on if you want. So the reason I kept them in separate categories is because, of course, if you select one of these, you can hold E to select more important components. I didn't want the cosmetics in this. So these will be all the components that we'll actually need. By the way, these blueprints are given out for free, so if you go to whatdarrenplays.com/satisfactory, you can download them for yourselves. And because I'll have different types of roads going forward, I wanted to just give them a little kind of code name, if that's the right word, a key code kind of. So NR for narrow road, right? So NR segments and so on and so forth. In future, we might have highways, so maybe like HW or whatever, you know what I mean? So we basically need a little moniker here at the beginning of the name of the blueprint because we're going to have so many in future. So trying to future-proof the planning on that side of things, hopefully that'll pan out well for us. So let's place down our first little component here. Just make sure it's aligned, lock it in. And there's our first road blueprint being pasted down. Now, just really quickly, in order to go further, we'll have to get rid of this, which is a bit of an omen to come, because we're going to be dealing with sulfur a little later. So just get that out of the way. Right, so the first component is obviously just 3 asphalt with a little bit of fix-it metal. I've just decided for this little small, narrow road to break it up with some fix-it metal every now and then. I think it just looks kind of nice. Totally in the eye of the beholder there, you know? So now, just tapping E, we can obviously cycle through everything, so I'm going to go with the smaller segment 3x2. This one doesn't have the fix-it metal built onto it, so I feel like it's good for use before junctions. So if we were to look at one of the junctions, aka a connector piece, you just have to think of it like little puzzle pieces we're putting together. And sorry I keep jumping up and down, it's just so we can get a good bird's eye view, a bit of a tactical view of what's going on, so we can actually see what I'm looking at here. If I'm down here all the time, it's kind of a bit harder to notice. Right, so we don't want the blank connector, we want an L-shaped connector, just like that. So a corner, so a left turn, totally fine. Obviously we would just rotate that if we wanted it to be a right turn, or we'd use a T-junction if we wanted to do something else. Thinking about it, do I have a... Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so I'm just going to grab the standard piece again. Now with blueprint mode toggled on,
we can just latch onto this and just make sure our fix-it metal is always facing out, so that way we have a consistent look and feel to the place. There's always 3 tiles of asphalt in between fix-it metal, and the junction pieces or connector pieces have 4 pieces together. So I think that looks kind of nice. Build this again. Have to kind of jump to get the angle correct. Of course, I'm locking it in place by pressing H, or the equivalent. Is this as far as we want to go? Do we want to go further? This is pretty far. I'll tell you what, we'll get rid of this piece. Again, we'll use a sort of pre-connector piece, and then we'll do the L shape again, and then we'll just rotate it to make sure it fits, like that. Right, so from here, I think we can probably just go straight out for a while, and then after the fact, I'll delete the trees or cut them down with the chainsaw. So again, we'll just rotate this in the right direction. Now, I want to prevent jumping up and down constantly. We can actually just look from here and try to just build out a few at a time. So another one there, another one there. And we'll talk about the additions and the cosmetic additions that will kind of make the road look a bit better so it's not floating in the air. Although, again, it doesn't really matter. So is that another one there? Bonk, bonk, bonk. So we are going way out, and we'll just keep going. Hopefully the height is okay with the dunes here. If I've cleared enough space. They rise and fall erratically, I would say, so it can be a little tough to make sure that you're building over them. But look at this, look at the speed that we're building. It's unprecedented. Are we good here? Is the sand creeping through? Oh, we're totally good. We're perfect. Love to see it. All right, let's keep going. I actually didn't build any ramps for this, so the idea is to keep this on a flat plane almost the entire way down. So I'm just going to go a couple more out and then gauge and judge where we need to cut back, if at all. So we've obviously come really far over, but thanks to mass blueprint dismantling, we can obviously just get rid of pieces really easily. So the target destination, if we look dead south on our compass, that'll be the world grid, right? So we'll know that we're going along that direction in the world grid. And I think I basically want to be lined up with the towers that are down there. Maybe the hills are pretty high over there, actually, so maybe just slightly over to the left or something. So we'll just get rid of one of those pieces, maybe even get rid of this one. And I would say from here, we'll do the smaller piece before the junction. And then we'll do another connector L. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I mean, we're almost in between it's so far out there, but we're kind of in between these poles. So that should be all right. And we're avoiding, I don't see any deposits in the way, so that should be okay. All right, so before I go any further, we're obviously just going to build straight down in a line from here, but I can just showcase some of the ideas behind the additional cosmetics. In the blueprint section, we have the NR segment bottom. So this is obviously just matching what goes on top, except it's not actually asphalt, it is concrete. If you use asphalt, it doesn't really blend with the concrete. You get this like black line almost going between the two, so it is slightly different. And that allows us just to kind of look underneath them and place these down a few times. It won't work with the 3 segment though. That's the only time it doesn't, but everywhere else is where I'll be using that basically. Anytime that we have like little gaps here, it's a slight waste of materials maybe, but it's fine. And we'll just do that. The gaps are much bigger out this way, and then I'll show you a little trick that we have for when water is passing by too. Now, if you have a little soft spot for nature and you don't want to delete everything around this area, you just want to get rid of the single trees, you can actually switch your chainsaw mode to just single, so it'll only destroy one thing at a time. Or you can go crazy, obviously, and just use area and just clear everything around this road completely. But I'm just going to go for the things that kind of pop through. Alright, so as we get closer to the water, this is where I think we can do something a bit more interesting. So we'll just chop off a little bit of that blueprint there and there. And then we'll go into our blueprints and we'll select the NR segment bottom vent. Right, so turning off blueprint mode and looking at the roof and rotating, we get this sort of grate-like vent thing. So if we place that here and maybe just kind of we can actually go into blueprint mode now and just go side by side. Thinking about it, I need to cut off one of the wall segments each probably, because they overlap slightly, but I can just delete that now in the moment. Alright, so there you go. So, not the most amazing cosmetics you've ever seen, but, you know, it just shows we care, we thought about it, the water's going through, it has a reason for the grate to be here. It just looks like, yeah, we've given it some thought at least. Is it perfect? No, I don't have all of the metal beams and everything I would use to maybe kind of create a border around the grate or something like that, but pretty happy with it nonetheless. One thing I'm not happy about is I accidentally used area mode and deleted a really nice tree that was like right there that was just kind of coming over the road just slightly, but like the trunk was kind of away from the bridge. It looked really good and it's gone forever now. But oh well. That kind of thing, when that happens, I'm like, should I just reload and do this whole thing again? But I guess we'll just have to leave it. Right, so let's continue this over now. And just pretty much keep going until I run out of concrete. I'm going to have to make a run for some in just a moment. Alright, so now the fun really begins. We can now just spam this out in a big long line. And go all the way down towards the modular frames, basically. So just keep going like this. Just throwing road segments down super fast. Love to see it. God, blueprints are so good. It's so satisfying. Alright, and just like that, our sort of Cold War-esque desert wall separating east and west has been built. So it looks a little intense, but it's all good. Right, so I'm just going to create a little platform now that we can bring a little truck station here and just have everything set up so it feeds down into this area. We'll build the versatile frameworks somewhere over there. Alright, so I ran out of materials. Tell you what, we're going to get rid of this little segment. We'll put down the smaller version, and then I'll put down a connector piece. Again, just a little L shape aiming to the right. And we'll just use that as our initial on-ramp, I guess, into this little platform area. So just using this, we'll go out, I don't know, all the way to the other side. So that's our road. So we'll need an area for this to kind of turn. So we're driving on the right side, so we'll go forward here. Maybe just somewhere at this point, you know, it widens out like so. We don't need much of a turning circle for these. And this can go like that. Cool. Alright, then we'll just grab this and we'll make this part of the where the truck station is actually going to go. And another block over as well. Alright, and I'll just wrap this with walls and rails. Alright, so there we go. Looking okay. Alright, so we got to put our truck station in. So somewhere just in the center, although closer to the back probably would be good. Let's just go like about there. And we'll just push it back one so it's not clipping over. Is that looking alright? I think that's okay. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. Alright, let's commit to it. Now, this will be the outputs. So we want to line these up with an assembler. So just grab an assembler like so. And I think probably that is good. I'll just line it up with the other one. I think that's in line anyway, just to double check. I'll just bring this straight up. Yeah. Right, we're nice and straight. Good. Okay, so maybe just get rid of a bit of... Actually, we'll keep the railing there. I suppose there's no problem. And we can actually raise this to whatever height it needs to be. Let's just wing it. Nailed it. All right, good. Happy with that. Now, that's going to be the steel beam. So we'll call this docking station. This is kind of the modular frame area. So let's call it the MF1 because there's going to be multiple. But this one will probably be torn down in the future. But we'll call it MF1. Yeah, I guess I was going to say normally it would be 01, but there, I mean, I guess so. There's only going to be one station here, and then we'll just say steel beam. Alright. And then the vehicle settings are to unload what it's carrying here. Now, we don't need to refuel anything on this side, so that should be okay. We need to also then power it. Just get power out to the edge there. And maybe we can bring power down with us here somewhere. This power pole is just over there, so link those together, link it to the machine. We'll select this to be versatile framework. Then this is where I've got modular frames. So I built a container that sucks up and then goes into another container because I just thought it might overfill. It hasn't, but it was just in case. So yeah, now we'll just grab this and aim it like that. We'll go with straight belts. And that'll be our modular frames rolling out and getting ready. So now we're just basically waiting on the steel to arrive. So I also have to create a sort of ladder or something that can get us up to this point, and then just bring this down to make it look a bit better. I wonder, would it look good with a little bit of metal along the bottom? Might look kind of nice. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool, actually. Alright, and yeah, I don't know, just get rid of this, and then we'll do a little ladder. I don't have the kind of cool stairs yet. There's a lot of stuff we need to still get in the awesome sink and the awesome shop. Alright, nice. Alright, we're pretty much ready to go. Maybe some patterns here, actually, just really quickly. Alright, that prevents me jumping up and down all the time, so there we go. Little arrow tracks that roll around. This dotted line actually takes up, like, that foundation in terms of its pattern, so I couldn't put the arrow on that if I wanted to keep the dotted line, which I do. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Alright, we can actually start beginning... Yeah, we can actually drive our truck from here. I should have some coal on me, so we can actually begin the process right now. So let's get the tractor. We'll just pop it along the straight. Like so. Throw in the coal. Hop in. Let's gain some momentum. Pressing Q and then start recording. So we're off. So basically, as long as we stay on our lane, we should not have any problems with this tractor. And when taking turns, because the road is quite narrow, we just want to go slowly into those turns, ease in, ease out, and then gain speed on the straights. And that should just make things go a little smoother when the tractors are kind of passing by each other. Although there will only be one on this road for quite a while, I would say. But just nice and slow like that, no problem. Just so that we drop a lot of waypoints. See, the game drops waypoints on time intervals, not distance intervals. So if you take a corner nice and slowly, lots of little waypoints are going to be placed down so the truck can easily get around them. And when you're not in the area, the trucks will actually take those corners pretty quickly. Or they can do. So it should work out. We'll just have to see. Alright, we'll take another little slow left turn here at the end. Just slowing down, easing in, making sure we're dropping those nodes. There we go. It'd be nice if you could just drop your own nodes. That would be pretty good. I think there are mods that let you do it. There we go. Alright, so I think for the steel factory, the steel beams that we want to pick up is the first truck station here. So number 3. Bay number 3. Be interesting to see how it gets around this. I think it'll do okay, though. Alright. Pressing F to load. Yeah, this doesn't work sometimes. You have to hop out and hop back in. Don't know what that's all about. Pressing F. Let me see. Load. There we go. I don't know why I had to interact with it. Yeah, just that's a new bug or something that I've never really seen before. Alright, so now that we've loaded, let's move on. And we'll just slowly take that corner. And off we go. Alright, and just like that, we are unloading. And the Mark 1 belt should be good enough. We're only doing 30 per minute transfer rate, so, you know, Mark 1 60 belt per minute should be totally fine. We'll just move off now. And then we'll just complete that route. And we'll name it based on where it picks up from. So, just hit that thing. Alright, so saving the path. So, it's Steel Factory 1 to Modular Factory 1, or Modular Frame Factory 1. And it's delivering steel beam. So that's how we name... That's my naming conventions anyway. So the other thing we can do before I actually hit play on that is you can go up to these nodes and interact with them. So if you've bumped into something or you didn't mean for something to happen, you can just delete one and it'll still go from this one to that one, for instance. You know, and you can actually delete quite a few in a row. So it'll always just try to get to the next one anyway. So that can help when you make some errors. Once you save or complete a route, you'll get a gold node dropped on truck stations that you passed under or passed through or stopped at. So if you're trying to pass through them, I've seen some debate about this, but in my testing anyway, and I dropped it in my Discord just the other day, was that if you just go up to this and delete it, the trucks will just drive through it. Back in Update 8, when you deleted that node, they would actually be forced to try and drive around it. Now they seem to drive through it, but I've seen conflicting things. People in my Discord have said, like, no, it's just not working for me. They're still stopping and unloading, so I don't recommend trying to drive through other truck stations. Try to keep them separate if you can. Now, this is always measured in seconds. Not that it really matters for us, but if we wanted to have a look at something, the capacity of a tractor is, I think, 24 slots, and we can hold a stack of 200 in each of those slots. That's 4,800 steel. Obviously, if you were carrying something like concrete, it'd be 500, so you'd have 12,000. But for us, it's 4,800, right? So 4,800 is how much it would take to fill one full tractor. So we're making 30 per minute steel. So 4,800 divided by 30 would be 160 minutes. And that's obviously then going to be just over 2 hours. So it's quite a while to fill. Now, we could say 160 minutes. 160 times 60. That's 9,600 seconds. So you could actually set this to be like 9,000 seconds. And that way the truck would just wait here and only go off and claim something or get something when it's, you know, basically ready to be full. So that's how you can kind of conserve fuel on trucks if you really want to. However, I haven't tested this, so I'm not entirely sure, but in Update 8, there was a problem where if you quit out of the game, like saved it, and then loaded back in, all the timers would reset. So that would mean that it would still be 9,600 seconds, but it would be start counting from 0 again.
So if you saved it and you were like, 8 minutes into a 10-minute wait time, it would reset back down to 0 minutes. So you don't want it to, at least in update 8, I haven't tested it in this one, so I'm sorry that I'm giving information I'm not entirely sure about just yet. But once we do a proper episode dealing with lots of trucks and lots of truck stations, I'll know for sure. So yeah, I'm not really going to set this to anything particularly high. Maybe back over at the actual steel factory where we're picking up, I might set it to, I don't know, something like 2,000 seconds so that it just fills up for a couple of minutes or a few minutes. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I'll just think about it and then it'll make a delivery here. Alright, so I've just run down to the steel factory really quickly and I've set it to 2,400 seconds. So the truck is literally just arriving right now. It might move off because I've literally just set it, so it might still move off anyway. Actually, it will because I have to hop into it and remove the nodes. Yeah, so it's going to set off now just because I've just made that adjustment. Once you hop in and hop out, it kind of resets anyway. Anyways, long story short, the node that is here is now set to 2,400 seconds, right? So that means it is basically 40 minutes, and we're making 30 beams per minute. So until the truck fills with 1,200, which is still way under its capacity, it won't leave. So it's going to make that last round trip now, and this just saves a tiny bit of fuel. I'm not that worried about the fuel situation, obviously, because we have a whole coal node dedicated to it, and it's just one truck, but I just thought I would illustrate that stuff for people who are kind of curious. And look at our truck, look at it. It's brilliant. It knows exactly where to go. Oh, it's so good. I love tractors and trucks. I just think they're great. Once you get them up and running and seeing them just driving around, it brings so much life to the world. I've just colored it the same color as my steel factory now, so I'll always know where it came from. I wish you could name them, though. I don't think you can do that, so it just says tractor. It'd be cool if I could name it, like, based on the factory it came from or something. Or just give it a name, just so I know which one it is. Anyways, so we've already unloaded quite a lot of steel here, so it's making its way in, so we would have made a bunch already. Yeah, 32. 32 versatile framework, just like that. So we'll just set up a little storage container here. I guess we could do a big one. Send it in there. So as these pile up, I'm just going to be manually bringing them over into another container and then feeding them into the space elevator. In the future, we're going to build a dedicated place in the desert for the space elevator and several truck stations around it so that we can always deliver in whatever it needs. And then also have a section for the hub and a section for some of the things that we're going to be doing today, which is summer sloops and dimensional depots. So I do want a sort of centralized base in the desert. It just didn't have time coming up to Christmas now to get that all done for this one video. But in the future, after we get phase 2 done, definitely that's going to be the plan, like keeping things a bit more permanent and removing anything that's not. But yeah, this should be good for now, as I keep saying. All right, so with that being made, there's only one other thing I want to do. So we can kind of say that, versatile frameworks are being made now in the background. But you may have noticed in the top right of the screen that I've halted smart plating production. I stopped it a while ago because I basically wanted to save up more rotors and more reinforced iron plate in order to build a coal factory and a few other things. So now we can just flick the switch back on because we've got plenty, right? I've got 1,400 there. And I've got 922 in that box, and it's still going to be gaining. We use half of the amount of that's being produced pretty much to make the smart plating. So again, we need 1,000 smart plating. We're only making 2 per minute, so it's pretty rough going. Divided by 2, that's 500 minutes. 500 divided by 60, that's 8 hours. So we really want to shave that down, which we'll do using some summer sloops very, very soon. But let's just mark that off the side thing now, the to-do list. That is done. Versatile frameworks complete. Alright, so now that this place is up and running just fine, I'm going to build a little power tower here and extend it out northwest so we can get out there fast, but also extend power out there so that we can get to the sulfur. So let's go. Man, this part of the map is so beautiful. It's like really, really nice. Just the way the lighting is hitting it right now. I just had to stop for a minute and just be like, damn, it looks good. Anyways, this is where our sulfur is. So basically here on the map. And we have a pure node, which is perfect because, just throw down a few of these just for a moment. The reason that this is perfect, are there enemies? It said there's enemies, so yeah, let me just deal with this guy first. Anyway, so the reason that this is perfect is because this is a pure node. So it is worth double what a normal node is. And there are 2 normal coal nodes just around the corner over here, which we'll go back to in just a moment. So these are actually needed in equal parts. So this is going to be a great place for like a weapons factory or compacted coal, that kind of thing in the future. So I'm just going to pick these up now. These are just temporary. And hopefully I've got what I need to build a MAM. Yep. And now we can actually get the black powder recipe from the sulfur chain, right? So we needed a little bit of sulfur, and a little bit of coal. So with that, we can now make black powder, and that's going to be needed in order to make nobelisks so that we can blow open those boulders that you see periodically. So now, I'm just going to build some foundations and stuff and get this sulfur over around the corner. I'm not sure the exact layout, but I'll just go over the river, like we're aiming roughly in that direction, basically, along the world grid over towards where the coal is. Alright, so there's the coal nodes just over in that direction there, and I've just basically created a long walkway over. Just tried to gauge some sort of height that would make sense, and then I stayed on the world grid as well. It's worth mentioning that you can go to Satisfactory Calculator. Some people have been struggling to, you know, do the same foundation layouts that I've been doing. Again, you can always just load the save and try work it out from that. I feel like it's quite straightforward that way. But if you're struggling with it, if you go to Satisfactory Calculator and load the save, you can actually filter and turn off all the objects except for foundations. And then you're basically presented with a really easy to read grid of where things are. It might not be the best for when I start doing multi-story factories, but at least in the meantime, just for the open floor factories that we're doing right now, like the ground floor factories, like you'll be able to see them pretty clearly, so that might help. Alright, so there we have it. I've just done some of the cosmetics on the bridge itself. So basically, every 3 foundations, it's a fix-it foundation, similar to the one that we had for the roads a while back. But now we've got concrete, and it's only a 1 meter. Then underneath that, there is a fix-it foundation that's a 1 meter as well. On the side, there's a 1 meter wall, and that basically gives us, you know, this sort of effect, where we have a sort of a wall border that leads around it, but metal is kind of showing as the supports of the bridge, and it's been painted the unpainted finish, so that kind of has that nice reflection to it, or that kind of underglow or whatever. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. You know, just something nice and simple that didn't take too long to do. All right, well, anyways, so now now that that's out of the way for like complete no reason, yeah, let's just do a miner Mark II, and then again we'll just do it right down the middle. It's the only thing that this is going to be transporting. For now, I will be only setting this to, let's have a look. So black powder, it's equal parts coal and sulfur, 15 per minute 15, and then you get 30 out. I don't need much more than that, so I'm just going to literally set this to 15. In the future, we're going to use much more of this, all of it in fact, to make a big weapons factory. But this can be just one little component of it for now that will suit us just fine. So we'll just send this straight down along, and then just basically meet you on the other side. Alright, and then we just need to drag power out by putting it on. Every time there's a fix-it foundation, that's where the power pole will go. Oh boy. Alright, so we're almost ready to go. So now I just need to do a little bit of foundations out where the coal is, and then here we'll just pave this area over, and this will be where the weapons factory goes in the future. But really, we just need a tiny little segment of it now for our one machine making black powder. Alright, we're looking good. We're quite paved, and the territory is actually really flat, which is pretty good. I tried to just pick a height that would just keep us fairly consistent, so we could go lower in this section if I really wanted to, another step down, but for now it's totally fine. There's a few of these rocky spire things creeping through, so I might just extend the bridge over. 1, 2, 3. Let's go with another concrete piece there then, I guess, and another metal piece. This is where we come in then, so that's totally fine. Just paint that one, that's cool. Alright, so just extend this. I suppose let's just get our lift. Is that right? That does not seem right. Now, because unfortunately the gap between here and there is 3 meters, not 4 and not 2, it's just really awkward for the lifts to kind of come down. So I'm using mergers to get this into position, and then we can just remove that and remove this, and it should work now as a 3-meter lift, I think. Yeah, cool. Alright, nice little workaround there. Alright, so with that in position, we're just gonna, you know, it's sort of temporary. We'll just put down an assembler just anywhere here, whatever, totally fine. And we'll bring this around like so. And in it goes. So that'll be our sulfur fed. The next one needs to be the coal. And did I leave enough room at the back? Yeah, I guess so. The coal, I guess, will just come along here and do the same thing, right? So just down the center. Alright, I have to do that little trick again, and we'll just bring that into there. And I'll leave that merger in place, that way we can keep it center aligned. Alright, cool. Just bring this all the way down, and then feed it into that machine, and that'll be both of them at 15 per minute. Just like so. That's easy enough. Alright, so I just need to power that coal
miner there, and then just make sure we power the bridge, and then both will pretty much be activated. We can power that assembler, and then we just need to power the bridge. So we'll just do something like that. So that means the sulfur will now get rolling as well. So this is now going to be black powder. We need 150 basically, and then we can kind of start to advance. So I'm just going to feed this with what I've got. Let it get started, and we'll just send it into a little container for now. And there we go, that'll be black powder production, just like that. Alright, there we go, 170 has been made already, so that's really quick. I was just doing a little bit of the cosmetics of this platform, basically, just to pass the time. So sulfur, alright, so there we go. So 100 steel pipe and 200 cable, 50 black powder, and we get the detonator and the nobelisks. Now, we also have an expanded tool belt here if we just throw in a few encased industrial beams and an additional 100 black powder. Smokeless powder we won't get to until we get to oil, so we'll have to leave that for a while. Experimental power generation. I believe that leads to the compacted coal as well. Maybe I'll get some modular frames and stuff and finish that one off too. Right, so just going to delete the containers now. So basically, if we want to make nobelisks, we have to provide steel pipe. So it'd be nice to make this in the background so that we just always have them. However, that means like we need a delivery of steel pipe over here, or deliver the black powder over to the steel factory. Probably bring the steel here. It's just a little awkward. I'd have to extend the road all the way out here, so I'll probably just get to work on that now in a moment and just create a little platform for a truck station, and then similarly the trucks will just kind of do what we did just earlier with the modular frames. The only difference why I'm hesitating a little bit is I don't have an up or down ramp yet, mainly because I'm waiting for the tickets in the Awesome Sync to give me the double ramp. So I might just drive over the dunes until I get that, and then the road could actually go in place more permanently. Alright, so I'm just at the corner piece of the road before it goes all the way straight down towards that modular frame factory. I decided I would build a ramp because the dip is just so significant here, and then especially here. It just looked kind of weird, so I felt we might as well use the actual normal ramp pieces that are in the game rather than the double ramp and see how we get on. Because there's no vertical nudging in the game though, I have to extend this out manually. Just a little bit. So we can hop up there and actually build on it. So it's a 4-meter decline. And it'll be included with the other blueprints as well. So just grab it here. So I have it in the additions section because I feel like it's not that common that I need them. So it's like an additional thing every now and then. So yeah, that'll be pretty much it. So no blueprint mode needed for this one. We'll just lock it in. Just like so. And then if we wanted to do the same again, I don't know. Let's just test it out and see, would it play nice? I doubt it. So blueprint mode here? No. So we could go up pretty easily, but it's not that easy to go down. At least when it comes to actually going up though, it's pretty quick still. So we can just grab our ramp and then just connect it in with the blueprint mode toggled on. And bada bing bada boom. We're up and over just like that. This one could maybe even snap in and then go back down. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, neat. Worked out nicely. I've actually got a bit of an easier way to do the ramps that I accidentally just kind of came across. So if you use one of the segments that's meant to just extend the look and feel of it a bit further down, just use one of those and just build it out down twice from the height that you're aiming for. And then get rid of these two. Just go to the ramp, and there you go. So that's a much easier way of going down. So I'll probably just keep doing that. So again, just to do that a little bit quicker here. 1, 2, 3. Get rid of the top. And that one. Click this one. And boom. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty good, right? Oh man, finally I have lined things up. There are quite a few ramps involved just to get around those last bits of dunes, but yeah, we're now connected. We're connected all the way down here. So I'll probably just here somewhere on the left, just extend this out, and this can be where we drive in, we drop it off, we turn around, and we come back out. Alright, cool. Our little enclosure is ready to go. Little truck enclosure. Alright, nice. So our black powder is down there. It's full up the machine at the moment. I might actually just steal some of that coal. Thinking about it for the truck that's going to need it. And we did all of that stuff already. Cool. So yeah, so basically then we just need another one of these. Even just another one somewhere here will be totally fine for now, and then we can figure out what to do with it in future. Although, thinking about it, I guess that stuff can't really get out easily unless we go up and over. It's the nobelisks that will be actually coming out of here. Now, you can handcraft these, but we're just going to set it up and make it automated. Why not? I suppose, actually, we could just... Yeah, we can avoid that belt, no problem. That's okay. Right, so you just go straight in there. In fact, let's see, what do you take? It's 20 per minute, and what do we make? 30 per minute. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll just aim for just doing one. 20 per minute's fine for now. Like I said, in the future, we'll make more black powder. We'll turn it into smokeless powder. We'll do other things with it. But for now, just keep it nice and simple. And then we'll actually underclock these machines to 10 per minute each then as well, saving on a little bit more power. So that's not going to behave and go in there very nicely for some reason. So it's better like that. So that's 20 per minute rolling in. I'll just give it the power it needs. So it's just also going to need steel pipe. We'll see if we can just get the ball rolling by giving it some steel pipe. And then I guess, yeah, we'll just follow this straight out to somewhere like there. And then straight down here. And in we go. Alright, so that'll be steel pipe heading in there. We don't have anywhere for the nobelisks to go just yet. But we'll just give this a little bit of steel pipe for the fun of it. Okay. Then we're going to go with an awesome sink just to keep everything running. Just over there for a moment. Alright, with that in place then, we just need the smart splitter. Somewhere like here, I guess. Maybe it needs to be a bit more forward, like so. To be honest, bring that back a bit further. Alright, in you go. So the overflow will just go straight out the front, and to the right, we're going to have a container. So anything can go out the right. Let's just say nobelisk. Right, so overflow at the center, nobelisk to the right. So at the center, we'll just go straight in like that. So it's just going to overflow out that way. Now in future, we'll build a dimensional depot on this, but for now, we can just leave that intact. And there we go. We have nobelisks rolling out. Yeah, so the pure node is actually running at 0.2 megawatts in terms of power draw. So it's like almost not even a thing that's happening. And then we have this machine, which is underclocked as well. So that's 8.8 megawatts. So we're looking at 9 then in total. For this one, it's going to be the full 15. So we have our 24. When that turns on, I think it takes 30. When the truck station turns on, I think it takes 20, and this is currently taking 0.6. So the place is really, really cheap just to get some bombs rolling into my inventory. So that's pretty good. All right, all that's left to do now really is drive this route. So do I have the coal? I have coal with me. Can I build another little tractor? Yes, I can. So I've made an adjustment to the other route, not in terms of changing the path itself or anything like that. I just told it to wait at the modular frame factory rather than wait at the steel factory, because you should really wait where you're dropping stuff off, not where you're picking it up from, because multiple things probably want to pick stuff up. It's really not a good idea to have multiple things being dropped off in the same station, truck station, although you could have multiple trucks, and in which case they'd have to wait behind each other, which wouldn't really be a big deal, I guess. But for this circumstance, I think if we're setting a truck to wait, it should be really at the place where we're dropping stuff off. Alright, so I'm going to hit record, and we're going to get going. Yeah, I'm not sure what that bug is all about. So it seems like when you're in a vehicle, I've noticed this actually, there's a few hotkeys that aren't working. So F is the hotkey to get the arm to come out and fill your truck, and that's just not working. Neither is like hiding the nodes by pressing X. But if you get out of the vehicle, interact with any machine, and then get back in, it'll work. And you can do that while you're recording a route, so that's annoying. That's a new one. But yeah, at least there's a workaround for it. Alright, there we go. That's the steel pipe being dropped off, and we would have had a full load that time as well, so that should keep the place going for quite a while. Alright, so again, this is going to be Steel Factory 1 to Weapons Factory 1, and it's doing steel pipe. Right, so if the tractor can hold 4,800 and it only needs 20 per minute, that'll be 240 minutes. So 240 minutes times 60 seconds is 14,000. So I don't know. I'm going to say something like, what is that divided by 4? Just out of curiosity. So this divided by 4 is 3,600. So 3,600 is what I'll set this to. That seems really high. I don't even know. This is a bit experimental, honestly, if it can go this high. But I think so. 3,600 seems okay. And it's empty right now. So yeah, I guess we'll just tell that to go do its thing then. So enable autopilot, hide the nodes, and Godspeed. It'll take a few minutes to get moving. Something fun that we can actually do as well is just head out to that other factory. And once if my calculations are correct, when the steel beams gets to just about 1,200, the tractor should arrive. Alright, I've been waiting a while for this. I'm gonna crack this bad boy open. Alright, here we go. And the slug is totally fine. Now, the other nice thing, of course, is that we can actually get rid of some of these boulders. So if we wanted to kind of flatten out this area, or some of these boulders, like I mentioned at the coal power plant, are peeking through some of the foundations that you might put down, quite easily just get rid of them now. Pretty good. Alright, so that is Nobelisk production now done. The next one is SAM refinement. So I'm just back at the steel factory right now, and I was just eager to see, like, have we hit 1,200 yet? Is the truck here waiting? And it's just here now. So we just hit 1,300. So it probably set off right when it hit 1,200. Because it does take like a minute or so to get here. So yeah, quite happy about that. It's running like clockwork. And it's just after picking up all 1,300, then it'll go back, and then it's going to wait until this hits 1,200, and so on and so forth. Alright, so just really quickly, as I was making my way over here, I basically just moved all the power towers to be in line with the road. So I created I actually had this in the blueprints, you might have noticed it earlier, NR Power Tower Platform. It's basically just a little 2x2 that attaches onto the roads. But then basically you put a power tower on top of it. I couldn't do it in the blueprint designer with a 4-meter foundation because it was just too tall for the standard blueprint designer. And then underneath I just do 4 big pillar supports with the metal pillars coming down, so it just kind of sits on the side. The rule that I went for was every 5 of these, so every 4, and then on the 5th one I put down a power tower. So it's like 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then power tower, no matter if it's a corner or not. So that's kind of the spacing that I went for, and it seems to have worked itself out and looks pretty good. So quite happy with it. Right, so we're on to the SAM refinement. So basically, in this area, there is a SAM node, and we have to blow open a little hidden entrance to get into it. Alright, so if we make our way up to the cliff edge, just nearby where the Sulfur and the weapons factory is, we've got a little cave entrance just right here. So there's actually quite a few of these dotted around the desert generally, and the giveaway hint is usually the ivy. That's how you can kind of find little different hidden things. So we got boulders blocking this one, unfortunately, so I've also come prepared. We have a brand new Xeno Basher, ready to take out whatever lies in wait inside. But yeah, let's crack open the bombs. I'll just place one here. That being said, the bombs are pretty good too, so we could always use those if we need to. Alright, fire in the hole. Let's go. I don't think they see... Oh my god, he sees me. Well, that's how you do it. Where's your little friend? Come on. Any more? One more? Good night. There we go. It's as easy as that. Is that it? 3? 3 seems like a good number. Oh my god. These are so creepy. Yes, the chapel. Okay, cool. So we're pretty much ready. I'll just grab some of this stuff now. You might notice here another little way through. And then we have this area too. We obviously want to crack that open. Before we get that SAM, let's just... Actually, we will get the SAM. Let me just throw down some portable miners here first off. We'll let that crack it open. Let's go through here and see what we got. I'm going to take those bombs out again. Actually, they were pretty effective. No, I'm not gonna... Oh my god. 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 They are so creepy, dude. Is that it? I think that one in the back might be alive. Oh, oh Jesus Christ. Fuck. Nasty I can hear them crawling and wriggling all over me. Ugh. Alright, let's see how we're doing. So this is an impure node. So it's going to be pretty slow. Well, it's gained enough already, so let's throw down our MAM. Let's do some research. So, give me all these back, please. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Alien technology. Here we go. A scannable resource. Now we can just scan for it rather than happen across it like we obviously did. The next one then is going to be SAM reanimation. So 20 ore. And then we can actually craft it into reanimated SAM. Now, I've been skipping over the story and stuff like this. I kind of feel like the story is really something you should experience yourself. I haven't finished the game technically. I've gotten about 2/3 of the way through in terms of story content. So I still actually don't even know what happens at the end. Please, no spoilers. I do read my comments, so please don't spoil. And because I'd like to just know organically if I can. So yeah, but I just thought for this playthrough, you know, it's there, the text is there if you want to read it, but if not, you can kind of ignore it and kind of play through it yourself. That's kind of a conscious choice of mine to kind of hide it away from you guys, so sorry if you were looking forward to it. I won't really be delving into it, maybe until toward the end of the series or something we could talk about it maybe, but yeah. Alright, so now we can make the reanimated SAM. We're going to have to get power delivered into this place, so let's just go with a constructor. I'll tell you what, let's start off with the miner. That would make the most sense. So we'll just get one. So if this is the entrance, we'll aim it just right over towards this area. Maybe clear some of these boulders out of the way. Yeah, not all can be cleared, but that big one could be, so that was good. Alright, so hold control. We'll just line these up together pretty close. Nice. We'll bring that into there. No problem. And then this is going to be making reanimated SAM. So it needs 120 per minute to make 30 per minute. So I'll just toss that in. Now, I need power to come into here, because we want to keep this place active, actually. Alright, there we go. So 120 per minute. So we'll do a Mark II belt, although I don't know if we can get 120 out. It's 60. I'm not going to bother, like, clocking it the same, so we'll underclock this one. That makes a bit more sense, I think. So 15... per minute, so 60 per minute in, 15 per minute out, so that's totally fine. And then let's just go with a storage container here. All right, we've made 49, and I already had a little bit with me. Cool. All right, so now alien technology, and we get our SAM fluctuator. Now, the unfortunate thing with this is it requires reanimated SAM, steel pipe, and wire, so we can't actually automate it until we get manufacturers, so that's not going to be for a little while. But we can handcraft it, and we're going to handcraft a bunch of them so that we can unlock this node. So, because we need 11 fluctuators for the dimensional depot, and then we need 10 for alien energy harnessing, and then we're going to need more. We need 100 when we get down here, and then we're going to need... I can't remember, but a certain another amount around here. So we're going to take a little break from this area and let that build up the reanimated SAM for a little while, and then we'll come back when we can handcraft enough. Because right now, you know, I can only do 8. We're going to need like 200 or something like that, so it's going to take a little while. So we're going to go out exploring. We can say that SAM refinement is now done, and now we have to source components. We're on the hunt for circuit boards and hard drives. Alright, so that's the dried out riverbed just down there that's squiggling around, so we're just going to be following that along until we see... Whoa, my god! And that's the hard drive site right down there, actually, that I'm looking at right there. Alright, enemies have been taken care of, so we want to basically connect this to power, crack it open, and then grab our hard drive. Just going to delete that SAM ore and the... Actually, I need the sulfur. Yeah, I need the sulfur with more modular frames. Okay, well, we'll have to leave it like that. There is computers here. They're going to be really important. There's 19 of those. There's also circuit boards, 71. That's going to be great. Some beams, that's fine. Quick wire. Great, and the stators that I already picked up. I think that might be it. Oh, rubber. Not enough space. Yeah, might come back for that.
Alright, I finally made it. This is the one that we want. It is out in the middle of nowhere, so this is where I am on the map. So, just gonna have to go by the coordinates or look it up online, but yep, this is the one we want. It also is another free unlock, so that's nice. There we go. More circuit boards, so they're gonna be super handy. We've now got 198. We actually had enough from the ones on the ground, but just picking up another, 100 basically is going to be great. Okay, so basically kind of done with the sourcing of components. Now we can basically just head back and see how much SAM we've refined and start making our fluctuators. Alright, I'm back in the Fortress of Solitude and we have made 567 so far, and that's not counting the 49 I've got on me. So I'm just going to get to crafting now. So just show me what I can make. SAM fluctuators. Yeah, so give me as much as this as possible, and we can now make 104. That's good. Alright, so I've made 108. Now, I just remembered I don't have my immersive spheres with me, so I won't be able to advance that just yet, the Dimensional Depot. But we can do alien energy harnessing. So we'll just begin with this. So that's nice and easy. And then the next one up is going to be production amplifier. But again, I left my summer sloops and all my kind of collectibles back at the hub. So I'm just going to wait around, make sure I've got enough of everything I need to get started with this. And then we should be good to go. Alright, so I've got 19 immersive spheres. Just going to dump in, I guess, this for a moment. Let's grab the spheres, and then I'll just get rid of something else. And then grab the sloops, because we'll probably use both. Alright, let's begin. Opening up alien technology, we now have the Dimensional Depot uploader. 11 fluctuators. This is going to allow us to remotely upload anything to sort of cloud storage. We'll talk about it later if you don't know it already. So, we can upgrade the speed, or we can upgrade the capacity, or we can also get the manual depot uploader. That's thanks to the 19 computers that we just found a moment ago. So now, if my inventory's full of crap, I can literally just throw it up to the cloud wherever I am. No? I don't have it open in my... Where's the thing? Nope. Maybe we have to upload something the traditional way first. Alright, so let's go with the Dimensional Depot uploader here. And we'll just feed in like so. And this is just cable going in there. So now cable is going to roll up and go up. We're making... I can't remember how much we're making. Actually, it might be 30 per minute. And that's now going to get uploaded at a speed of 15 per minute unless we now upgrade it. Now that stuff is going up there, do we have... Now we have it. I was wondering. So I actually had the manual uploader and you couldn't do anything until you actually sent something in through a container first. Interesting. So the cool thing is now we can just like, if I don't want these computers clogging my inventory, just drop them down there. And they'll go into this cloud inventory. Now their capacity is 1 stack at the moment, so we can only do 50. And we can only do 15 per minute, according to that. So we can obviously boost that a little bit in here. So by spending Mercer Spheres, we can increase the capacity. I'm not really... Yeah, I think 30 per minute would be a good speed to go for. And then I'll say we have to get more fluctuators to then be able to go with the capacity. I don't think I'm going to go with more than 30 per minute for quite a while until I start making factories that are dealing with more than 60 per minute upload speed. But it's mostly just to handle buildables, right? The great thing about the Dimensional Depot is if I don't have any cable on me, so let's just say I'll throw the cable away. So I've got no cable in my inventory now. If I want to make 2 power poles and connect them, but I've got no cable, well, it's actually going to pull from that dimensional uploader, and you can actually see it's a purple color and it's gaining as we speak. So it's great for when you're out and about building. You don't have to run back and forth nearly as often, almost never, if you sort it out correctly. And as time goes on and you start to get more of those spheres, build more fluctuators, you'll be able to get that speed and capacity up massively, and you'll just be like building factories like super fast without having to move out of that location. So it's super good. It's an amazing just kind of game changer basically that they added. Now that's the Dimensional Depots kind of done. We'll have to go around the different factories in the future and add them to certain things. I could do that for steel. I don't think I'm going to do it to any of these places because they're quite temporary. Steel and the nobelisks, we could maybe add some too. So just to double check the cost of each one, it's 10 fluctuators. So not that much, but you know, it takes a little bit of time right now because we're just waiting to build up that reanimated SAM in the background.
But this one we really want as well. This is super important. So I'm going to wait till I get my 100 now, and then we'll go with that one. Now, it should be worth mentioning that while these things are great, right, as we can throw stuff into them, you cannot get stuff out of them. So just wanted to mention that just for anyone who's thinking like, oh, cool, like you can just teleport items across the map. You can't. You can just bring it into your inventory. But you can pull stuff out of your inventory and then put it in a machine if you really want to, which is what we're going to do now. I'm going to go back to that cave. And instead of having to go in and out fetching that reanimated Sam, I'm just going to let it fill up that container, and then every time it gets full, just pull it out, pop it into something more local, and then craft it into fluctuators. Once, you know, obviously once we get the manufacturers up and running, then we'll never have to really do that again. Alright, I'm back in the cave. We've got 146 at the moment. So if we go with the dimensional depot, and we just plug in a lift, this is usually considered like the best way to kind of build these, because the dimensional depot just sits on top. It has first priority to fill. So it's like your inventory is first priority, and then when that gets full, it'll just back up this container. Then when you pull from the inventory, so you're pulling from the cloud and out of here, then it'll like continuously feed it some more. So it's just a really nice way of doing it. Alright, so that's kind of set now. We can just see it doing its thing in the background. I often pin the ones that are automated. So I actually took away the one on top of cable. I'm just trying to save the fluctuators right now. But once we start automating all the different goods, I'll pin them to the top of the list, so then I just know which ones are taken care of permanently. Now, in preparation for making the automated wiring, I'm just going to build a little connection point here instead. That's a T-junction. Might be a little better. Alright, so I'm just making a little temporary ramp here so that we can drive out of this place. Like so. So I've basically filled up this truck with steel pipe, so we're going to need that to make the stators in order to make automated wiring. So I'm just getting that stuff together. I'm also going to just go back and check how much versatile framework we have in a second, and then get loading up that space elevator. Alright, so just get rid of that. Going to take out the steel pipe, throw it into here. That'll be one component sort of ready to go. Alright, next we're just going to need one assembler. I'll just connect that to power and feed that in. So that's our steel pipe rolling in here now, and we can select stators. So we need wire to come in here as well. So, excuse me, that should be no problem. We've got 18,000 or something here now, so looking pretty good. Again, we're just going to get a little spaghetti. I need to get my stuff out of this one. A little spaghetti, just as we manually feed this belt. Alright, cool. So that'll be the wire going in as well. Now that's going to go and make stators. And what we want to do with the stators then, I guess, if we can just even put that down on the sand a bit better. We'll send the stators straight in there. And this is then going to be making automated wiring. It'll just need cable. Again, if we don't mind a little bit of spaghetti just to get the job done here manually. And by the way, this is the last you'll see of this place. This is all going to be basically torn down and rebuilt in a big iron factory probably in the next episode. That won't be till the new year. But yeah, so we have the cable coming out of here now. So obviously I removed that dimensional depot that was there before. And we'll just get that cable to go basically right over there. In you go. Alright, cool. So that's the cable done. And that's the stators in. So that should be totally fine. We're obviously feeding it faster than it needs to, but that's automated wiring. Now, that can go and make its way... Might have to switch this around, actually. You go into there. And you go into there. I'll leave the middle one free, actually. And then we're going to pile up the versatile framework in this one, if we can. And then we'll feed that into the elevator right into the middle. And that'll be everything getting fed in. Alright, versatile framework, in you go. It's not the most elegant looking way of feeding the elevator, but I promise, this is the last time we'll be like manually doing pretty much anything. Everything after this point is just going to be factory after factory, after power plant after factory. No more moving things around manually. Just deleting this whole place though, and putting down some foundations and building a proper iron factory with new rates. And hopefully we can keep up with the power. I think we should be able to, right? Yeah, we've got a pretty good amount of power to play around with, about 1,300 or something megawatts, so we still got lots of room before we have to think about oil. Alright, and just like that, we have our production amplifier. Man, that took a while to get those fluctuators together. Now when we get more, I'm just going to be doing some depot expansion and then just building more depots with them. So, oh, right. Well, this is where the game really begins. So now what we can do is head on over to our lovely smart plating setup here. And we'll throw one of these, or rather two of them, into here. Now when this completes, we're going to get, I think on the next cycle, it'll give us double the output, right? So instead of 1, we're going to be getting 2, so 6 per minute. So this should allow us to go way quicker now. And I'm also going to increase this rate in just a moment with power shards. Now, it does have dramatic effect on power consumption. You know, a standard assembler is 15 megawatts. With a little bit of a power shard and then some sloops, we're up to 102 megawatts. So it's a significant jump. Alright, so this is where the fun really begins. So, we'll select a recipe, just a generic one, such as biomass leaves, and then I'll just throw some leaves in. We'll then throw a summer sloop in, just one, and that'll double the output we get, which is all well and good. This is just to kickstart the sloop, because it doesn't run on the first cycle. So now we can kind of hear it, we can see the machine is giving out a bit of extra steam. It's huffing and puffing, a little bit of that blue stuff. So now we'll select a different recipe, right? We'll say, let's go with power shards, right? So we'll throw in the blue slugs. And the obvious thing here is that instead of just getting 1 power shard, now we're getting 2. This is why I didn't really want to make too many power shards early on. I wanted to hold on to as many slugs as possible. And I tried to only use blue slugs when I was making power shards before. So that way I held on to as many yellow slugs and purple ones as I could. Now let's just switch over to the yellow slugs. So here we go. I'm going to continue on 4 power shards for 1 yellow slug. Absolutely love it. 50 per minute. Look at this. The hell happened there? I guess I just dropped it on the ground or something. Oh my god, it's so good. So each time it processes now, it's banging out 10. How good is that? I just can't get over it. It's so nice that they did this for us. Hey, speaking of things that are nice, we just hit 1,000 out of 1,000 versatile framework. That's now done. I'm going to get some of these power shards and head down to that smart plating as well, just to make sure that we really speed that process up now. Another great feature is to just make lots of protein, so you double up the amount of remains you're getting from animals, and then we can make alien DNA capsules with them. Or we could make liquid biofuel. People who've watched my streams know I'm quite the fan of liquid biofuel. Alright, so from one slooped constructor to the next. We will now tell this to make alien DNA capsules, and we'll throw in a summer sloop here. The first one won't count, but the next ones will. I'm happy with that. We'll bang this all the way up as well. Let's see how much power that's going to be. 53 megawatts of power. But now we're just getting capsules for days. And I'll roll them into here. Actually, I'd rather just kind of see how many we get before we send them in. So maybe I'll just wait. Need a faster belt. We've got so much. We're just doing so much processing. Feels a little sad, but oh well. These guys in particular can get. They spook me way too much. All right, so the next one over. Spitters. Alright, so we filled up all of our capsules, so I guess we'll just roll them in. So we're at 1,000 points remaining. We've 13 coupons. Let's see what this does for us. So we'll just go all the way up to Mark III belts. Just fling them in there. Give me the DNA. Yes. 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 That's all the animal remains I have for now. So the next thing I'm going to do, and the last thing I'm going to do, is just make loads of biomass and biofuel so that we can kind of turn it into stuff later. Alright, and there we go. So now leaves are just rolling in and biomass is rolling out, and then we can turn that biomass through slooping again into solid biofuel, and then in the future we could turn it into liquid biofuel if we really want to use it for vehicles or something like that. God, I love the VFX for it. It's so cool. Alright, so how are we doing? We could speed this up, yeah? Let's crank it. 60 megawatts of power was what it was with the sloop. Hopefully I don't think I'll be crashing my network anytime soon, but you never know. These things do demand a lot. I'm going to say 200, maybe 300. Yeah, 201. There it is. So it's 12.5 per minute. So automated wiring is flying along, and then the same is going to be true for over here. I might give them a little help. Actually, they're full up already, so don't need a helping hand. Alright, 10 per minute. DNA is still rolling out. We are now up to 32 tickets. So that was from 13 to 32. So we're pretty deep in there now. Alright, looks like that's it. 35 tickets. 35 coupons. Alright, we can get rid of this, and get rid of this, and we'll say goodbye to that. I'm not going to buy anything right now. The next thing, though, would just be that solid biofuel, like I mentioned. So, solid biofuel. There it is. Got our sloop in. Overclock it, because why not? Just for funsies. That's 300 per minute. We don't even have a belt that can handle that. And then I'll just give this a place to go. Alright, let's hook it up to power. Alright, there we go. Solid biofuels rolling out in massive amounts. We're doubling the amount we get to even make the biomass, then we're doubling the biomass to get twice as much solid biofuel. And you can double that to get the liquid, I think, in refineries. You can't, unfortunately, sloop packagers, though. They don't allow that. Now, the one that's really worth a lot is the wood. Wood going in just gets turned into so much biomass. So we'll just select that one. Yeah, it's 1500 per minute, like it's a joke. You know, they're just having a laugh. So there's no way we can actually achieve, even with the Mark 6 belt speed, we couldn't even get that out of this machine if we wanted to. So it's just going to have to periodically turn on and off. But, you know, it can't be automated. We do have to collect the wood, so it is what it is. But that's going to be a tremendous amount of biomass now, and a lot of biofuel to boot. Alright, the versatile frameworks are completely done as mentioned, so just about 300 smart plating to go. We're doing about 10 per minute, so it shouldn't be too bad. And then the automated wiring is just the last little bits are making their way in. So I'm just a bit slow on the smart plating. To encourage the smart plating to go just that little bit faster, I'm going to send straight in some of the rotors that are in here. And total spaghetti mess here. We're going to grab some of the reinforced iron plates from here and bring them over and into here. I guess maybe I'll do this, something like that. See if they can aim over to its buddy there. There we go. So now we've got two of these machines on the go, and I'll sloop both of them so we get the best bang for our buck out of this stuff. So smart plating again, slooped, speed it up, and connect. Alright. So now we have a second 10 per minute smart plating. So I guess we'll just give it a little merger. This is how you play the game, right? Just completely all sprawling with spaghetti everywhere. That's the way people like to play, right? So I've read. Where's my reinforced iron plate, damn it? It's coming in now. There we go, two of these bad boys on the go. So how much power draw are we doing now? So we can actually stop this machine. This one's done. Automated wiring is done. We'll just throw it into an awesome sink then as well, just to get rid of some of it. Good, good, good. Alright, we can clean this place up then. Just get rid of these little machines that were kind of temporary. So now I'm just going around and popping the dimensional depots onto the various containers that we have, so I can just get concrete and wire and cable into my inventory. But as mentioned, you know, when we're building out new parts of the desert, I'll probably leave some of this up and running for a little while, but then it will just be torn down when we need to reclaim this area. Alright, it's the moment of truth. There's only 6 to go. 5 to go. 4, 3, 2. Is it just one more? 9.99. And there it is. The last smart plating is finally going in. Nice. And that's it. We are all done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we are going to complete phase 2. Let's lock it in. The construction dock unlocks tiers 5 and 6. Like I said, this is where the game really begins. We have all the tools now to really just build whatever we want. And we have a decent belt speed, and we can build to the next belt speed spec. It's really now all about oil and then aluminum. Smart plating, versatile framework, and automated wiring. Of course, we're going to need all this stuff later. They'll be combined in other things that get made into more advanced space elevator parts. So we want to set them up in a bit of a higher volume than they're currently at. Oh, the jetpack, of course. Oh my god, and rail. Now, the plan is to live in the desert and live in certain biomes for a while. So the desert, and then we'll have maybe another one in a jungle or something somewhere. So the railway connections are going to be between both of them and anywhere that we have high volume items that need to transfer between factories, basically. So I look forward to that. Modular engines and adaptive control units. You can do it. All right.
Send it on up. Now, as mentioned at the top of the video, this will be my last upload for the year. I just want to say, you know, truly, thank you for all the support throughout 2024. I don't know, people say it's imposter syndrome or whatever, but I just really don't feel like I deserve it. You know, if you're watching later in 25 or 26, I just want you to know I really appreciate people giving me their valuable time. Let's be real, these are long videos, and I know people watch them passively and everything, that's cool, but it still really matters. So I really do appreciate it. You know, people who also play along, or they're showing me their builds, they join my Discord, all of that good stuff. So people are just generally really positive. I get extremely friendly comments, which I think can be somewhat rare on the internet. So I really do appreciate it. I mean, I really don't really get anything negative. I don't want to jinx it, but it's kind of crazy. You know, whenever I'm feeling a little bit gloomy or uncertain about things, opening up my YouTube comments always motivates me to do more. I really mean it. So thank you again. I hope everyone takes it easy over the holiday break and has a good one, and a happy new year. See ya.